8 years. That's how long it took my guest in today's episode of Engage before they started to see any level of success as an online marketer. Would you have waited that long, or would you have given up long before? My guest today is Gary Sorensen. He's an online marketer currently living in Pennsylvania, and he got started in the online marketing industry back in 2013. Now, like a lot of people who get involved in the industry, he struggled to see success. He tried several different things, but nothing was quite working out for him. But unlike the majority of people who come into the industry and quit when they're not seeing that instant success, Gary showed resilience and determination to not give up. Now, after several years of sheer persistence, he's starting to see some success. So I'm absolutely delighted to have Gary on the show today so he can share his story, which will hopefully inspire you if you're in a similar situation to what Gary was in not too long ago. So first of all, welcome to the show, Gary.
Oh, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Now, I'm really excited to have you on the show today because I'm keen to learn more about your story overall, the experiences that you've had in the online marketing industry over the past 7 or 8 years now, if you started in 2013, and just to learn what lessons that you've taken along the way, what mistakes you've made, because I think all of this stuff combined is going to help a lot of people who are perhaps in that situation that you were in yourself not too long ago. So before we get started on all of the marketing stuff, can you just give a bit of information about yourself? Let's start with where you're from and where you grew up.
Sure. Originally, I was born in Queens, New York. Grew up in a middle class family. You know, my mom, dad, my brother, my older brother. Uh, did the whole normal childhood thing to go to school, and you learn when you graduate high school. Yeah, you should go to college. Well, I only lasted about one semester in college, and I said, "This isn't for me." So
What did you do in college?
I was actually gonna um, study environmental biology because I love the outdoors and all that. My brother's actually a geologist out in Colorado. So I said, well, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah. So I tried it, and it just wasn't for me. I could just see myself doing other things. So my dad was a carpenter and home remodeler and stuff like that. So I worked with him for a little bit. Then I ended up hooking up with a company, a cabinet making company in New York, and they ended up being one of the top three cabinet makers in Manhattan. And we actually did work in Trump Towers and all that, woodworking and stuff. So I did that for a couple of years, and met my first wife. We ended up getting married, and we ended up moving out to Pennsylvania because the economy wasn't doing good at the time. This is early 90s, I would say. And so we ended up moving out to Pennsylvania. We had some family out here. And I had a couple of jobs. I started out with a cabinet maker again. That didn't last too long because I was like the first person he's ever hired. He didn't realize the overhead it would take, for all the benefits and all that. So I ended up working for a department store. A lot of people probably know Sears and Roebuck. I worked for them for about 15 years, done every job possible, between receiving managers, supervisors, floor managers, everything. And then at that time, it was about 15, 16 years with them. And I had an opportunity to go work as a customer service for another company for more money, so why not? So I did that for about 3 years. And the money was okay, but bills, build up and stuff like that. So I was trying to find a way of supplementing my income and see what I could do. So I kept seeing these ads about marketing and click to pay ads and all that. So I tried my hand in that, going in blindly, probably like a lot of other people that really don't know what they're doing. So I didn't know what I was doing. I was just ordering clicks and just finding some kind of an offer. Yeah, it seemed popular and just pretty much just spamming my stuff out there. Yeah, and nothing really happened. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just go back a little bit then. So where were you seeing this first advert then to enter the online marketing industry?
Um, if I remember right, I believe it was in Facebook. And I saw a couple of magazines also, but Facebook was the it was like the early years of Facebook too, and things would just pop up because algorithms weren't there yet really. Yeah, so anything and everything was coming up on your timelines and stuff. Yeah, your feeds. Anyhow, I kept seeing this one ad, and I can't even remember offhand what it really was about. It was about the famous lines like earn $500 in a day and all that stuff. So of course I jumped into it not knowing, you know. So that was pretty much my first experience with it.
Do you remember how much that cost you, that first program?
um, Back then it was probably, I think it was like $49. And it was early that it's not as like right now marketing is so streamlined, and it wasn't streamlined back then. So you had to do a lot more work and all that. And I had no background at all with computers. I was lucky to push the button and log in. That was the kind of the extent of my experience. But
What and what year was this that you first got started on online then? Was this in 2013 or was this prior to that?
yeah, it was 2013.
Okay, so that program then that you got involved with it, $49, which isn't an insignificant amount. It's not like a lot of the offers that you can see online these days, which are being sold for $7 or something like that. There's still a reasonably significant buy-in involved there. So can you tell us a little bit then about what that program actually involved you doing?
The training wasn't that good. They pretty much made you an affiliate, and they gave you the link. They didn't really have much training. They just said, just go out and send it to all your family and friends and all that, and everyone's going to join. All the promises and all that. So I tried doing it through Facebook and letting some friends and family know about it. And of course, if anybody knows that you try to ask your family and friends, they're going to kind of look at you cross-eyed and like, what are you talking about? you know, and they're not really going to invest anything in with you until they see something. So I tried that on and off for I don't know. I would say like maybe 2 years, and I was just putting money into it, buying traffic and all that, and it wasn't going anywhere. You know, so I quit that. I kind of squabbled around for a couple of years after that, and then I ended up hooking up with another uh, program that was more streamlined and had kind of like it's almost like a one-stop shop. It had everything in it. It had some training, and it had some websites that you can you know mess around with and make your own and do that. And uh, and a lot of it's copy and paste, which back then was great. For a lazy marketer, that's what you want. You just copy and paste and you know wish for the best, which now I know is really not the way to go. But
Yeah, so you had a dabble in a couple of different programs there. Were you also involved in network marketing at that same time? Because I remember when we spoke previously before we began recording this episode, you said you had some experience in the network marketing industry with some health and wellness products. Was that going on at around the same time?
yeah, I mean that was that was about the time that CBD was getting kind of noticed by the public. Yeah, it was still new in the industry, and yeah, so I joined this health wellness, and it's all the same. I mean, from what I noticed in all my years now, that every program you join, a lot of it is almost like it's cookie cutter. You know, they all have the same type of thing. You know, they might be doing something different with what they're promoting, but the whole core of the system is pretty cookie cutter. That they kind of all do the same thing. They'll give you a little training, then they give you the link and all that to share, and then it almost turns into a pyramid scheme that unless you're at the top 10 people in the company, you're really not going to make any money. You're making money for those people up top. You know, and unless you can have a huge email list or following, there's really no way of succeeding.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and yeah, I think that's a problem that a lot of people have, especially when they're getting into like the network marketing side of things, and they're starting from the bottom. They don't really have that big following. Some people might be able to recruit friends and family if they of the of the opinion that they want to get involved. But if you're a bit apprehensive about approaching people who you know in your real life rather than your business life, then yeah, you're going to be pretty short of options. So I mean, what did you take from that experience overall then? I mean, what were there any particular lessons that you learned from your time in network marketing?
Don't believe everything that they tell you. That's the main one. But I mean, what I've learned, and I don't know who made the quote, but it's been around for years. And it's kind of my mantra really. It's every failure is one step closer to success. And I truly believe that if you fail, it's a lesson, and you have to take it as a lesson. And don't let it get you down and say, all right, this didn't work, so I'm not going to do that again. Let's try something else. And in my own experience, it's just constantly tweaking things and just trying to find a better way of doing it. Like, following other marketers that are successful and see what they're doing. Um, it took me a long time to realize that, but I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing now. You kind of, not that you're mirroring what they're doing, but you can get good ideas and kind of make it your own.
Yeah, just trying to see what's working for other people, and just trying to reverse engineer that a bit, but doing it in a way which is is comfortable for you, something that works for you, rather than just trying to blatantly uh, copy what other people are doing, even if you're not really that into it. I think that's quite a problem that people have as well, and which is what leads to people quitting way too early because they're just not happy with what they're involved in. I mean, with the whole health and wellness thing, was that something of personal interest to you then at the time, or were you just getting into that because you thought that it was something that perhaps there was money to be made there?
A little of both. I mean, obviously, I mean, back then, I mean, it still is very popular, health and wellness. But I mean, I like to be healthy, but I think money was really the main, reason for me doing it. I was just trying to find something that I can earn, commissions off of. Yeah, and and it's true what people say is that even if your first commission is $5, it's still something that you've earned, and that first $5 feels really good. Yeah, because then well, if I earn $5, and why can't I earn another 50 or another 100 or 500? Keep boosting it up. And that was kind of the driving force for me. You earn that one commission, and you say, well, it is possible. I just have to find a way of doing more.
Yeah, exactly. It's proof in concept that it works, and if you've made $5 once, then why can't you make it over and over again? So, yeah, when you get that first sale coming in, then yeah, it really does spur you on then to try to make that next sale, and just to keep pushing yourself forward. So you had a couple of years experience overall then, your first forays into the online marketing industry overall, and as you say yourself, you didn't really have much in the way of success. But in about 2016, I think it was that we spoke about before, you got involved in another program. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, that was more on the email marketing side. Um, and I'm actually still involved with them, not as much as I was. And I'm probably gonna scale back into it right now. But I think that was really the turning point for me. I earned some commissions. I mean, not huge, but I was getting some commissions with that. But it just taught me a whole different way of marketing instead of doing the pay per clicks and all that. The solo ads and the email list. You can at least build your own kind of like team, I guess you would say. Yeah. And then then I was you learn about the autoresponder and you know getting email set up. I mean, with this system I had, they already had a pre-planned autoresponder anyway for emails, but I would add to it anyway on the back end. So instead of having like 30 or 40 emails going out to your list, it ended up being about 60 because I was making my own emails and adding to the end of it to make it more personalized. But I mean, it was good. It was they gave you three different niches that you can do. You can do the regular work from home, and you can do health and wellness, and also like a, a personal development type niche, to do. But I pretty much stayed with the work from home because that's pretty much what I'm more comfortable doing. But yeah, I mean, the system was good. It taught me a lot, and that's the whole thing. You can never stop learning.
Yeah, I think with that program, it does sound like it was a bit different to what you were doing before, in that this time you're not just throwing money at paid traffic, sending it to an offer and hoping that it converts. At least with this one, you are building an asset of your own, something that can't be taken away from you. You're building that list of subscribers, which you're then able to email and market to over and over again. So when you add these subscribers to your list, it's not just a one-time thing. Then you have this asset of your own, which you can then market to repeatedly. How did you find that then in terms of results? Were you making sales from that?
I was getting some sales, but you also find that even though you have people on your list, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're opening your emails. You can have their address and all that, but I'm constantly going in and just scrubbing my list. If people haven't opened my emails for like the last 6 months, I'd send one more email out to them personally saying, hey, are you still interested in this offer? Trying to reach out and follow up. But it's constantly changing. It's like rotating stock, pretty much. That's the way I put it. With the email list. Because some people, they'll join and say, oh, this sounds really good. And you get a lot of tire kickers that really aren't going to react to anything anyway. Yeah, and I find that today too. I mean, it doesn't matter what you put out, you're always going to have these people that, if it's a free to join, everyone's going to join it. Doesn't mean they're going to do anything. So I think you get more value out of, leads that are willing to put some money up. Because that means they're going to at least try to do something. Yeah.
Would you say that was one of the big challenges then of having an email list or getting into the list building game? Because the way to entice people onto that list is usually by offering them something for free. So once they opt into your email list, they can then download whatever it is that you've got to offer, whether that's something like a free PDF report or a video series or something like that. But then at some point down the line, you need to make those subscribers pay. So I suppose then it's a constant battle with them then as such to try to put something in front of them which they need to pay for, which isn't going to offend them to the point of them unsubscribing or reporting you for spam or something like that. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges then that you faced as a list builder?
I mean, it's a very fine balance. that I had to learn, like you were saying about spamming. When I had my email list originally, that's all I kept doing. Like it could be every day or every other day. I'd be just spamming offers. That's all I was doing. They didn't know who I was, and that's the whole problem that I had and I see with a lot of marketers. And I'm constantly getting people, sending me friend requests and on Messenger and everything else. And first thing they do is just throwing offers at me. I said, they don't even know who I am. I don't know who they are.
But yet you were doing the same to them from an email marketing perspective.
Exactly. And that's when the light bulb went on. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm doing the same thing to these guys. So that kind of changed it up a little bit. And yeah, it's all evolving. Everyone's going to make mistakes and everyone's going to spam. I don't know one marketer that I've spoken to that has never spammed anybody. I mean, that's when you join some of these programs. That's kind of how they train you. They just say reach out to everybody on Messenger and all that, and say hi, and then just throw the thing out there. And it's like a numbers game, and the numbers are too low. You can't do that. And if you build a relationship with people, they might not buy, or purchase anything for you now, but it could be like 6 months, a year down the line. Something might click with them and say, hey, I'm, following this guy, or conversing with him for a while, and I said, this sounds pretty good. So it's a whole trust factor.
Yeah, I think especially with social media marketing and also with email marketing that we've just been talking about, there is a level of desperation among marketers to make that sale as quickly as possible. So they haven't got that long-term approach where you're trying to build an actual relationship with your subscribers or your friends list. There's just this keenness to get a link in front of them as quickly as possible to try to persuade them to buy, and then they all get a bit off with you then when you tell them that, look, no, I'm not interested in buying right away. I don't even know you, and yet you're just thrusting this link in my face. I suppose it's a bit more difficult as well if you're doing that through email marketing, because you're also going to have the added cost of building that list. So I suppose there is a level of urgency there then to try to recoup that cost as quickly as possible. Were you finding that was quite difficult when you were doing the list building yourself?
Oh yeah, and to be completely honest, you never do recoup that money unless you're a really good marketer and really know what you're doing. You're just throwing money. I mean, you're getting your email list, but if you don't know how to use it to your advantage and also to their advantage, really, because you're not really. From what I'm learning now, like how many years I'm into this now, that relationships are more important than sales. I said the sales will come, but you have to have a relationship with the people. And I wasn't doing that. And that was the biggest mistake. I mean, I posted something on Facebook a couple of days ago saying I just wrote the number one cardinal rule, and it was spamming, and that's what it was. That's all I was doing is spamming, and I know every marketer's done it, like I said before. And it's really hard not to, because, like you said, you're in desperation because you're paying money to get people on your list, and then you kind of just stuck out in the cold, hoping that someone's gonna, actually, pick up on something that you're, trying to promote. So there's that fine line that you have to kind of walk on.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, and yeah, I think everybody has been there, even me. Back in the day. Even now, though, I think when you get involved with something new, there is that level of urgency that you feel that you do need to try and get that first sale or those first couple of sales over the line as quickly as possible, just so that you have some proof that you can share with your audience that you're making money with that program, or you're being successful with that program. So I think after you've made that sale, or those first couple of sales, you can take a bit more of a relaxed approach to things. But yeah, I know there's a lot of people who are involved in online marketing who are still waiting to make that first sale, and their marketing just continues to become ever more desperate.
Yeah, yeah.
But At what point then did you think, right, I've got to either stop doing this email marketing? I know that you're still involved in that program, but at what point did you think, right, I need to at least pause this for the time being then and try something else?
I mean, I'm still doing it, but there was a big push a couple of probably about a year, 2 years ago with texting, the whole text marketing thing. So I got stuck with the shiny object syndrome. Yeah, you're always looking around for something that's better. Yeah, and I still haven't learned yet, so here I am looking for something else, and I find this other program, which for me was a big investment. You know, more than I probably should have even tried to do, but I did it anyway.
Do you mind sharing the cost involved there?
Originally, the genre is about $150, but then to boost yourself up to get, you know, obviously more sales, as they say, is another 500. So I was in a hole for like $650, and then you're paying. That was just to get into the program. Then it was about $100 a month to stay in it, to keep it active. And I mean, that's tough too. I mean, I'm not. I say like a used car salesman. I'm not. I can't go and just like talk to people, say, hey, get this, you know, and all that, you know. I just don't work that way, and that's kind of how this program is. Unless you can really go out and be aggressive with people, selling and all that, you're really not going to do anything. And that's kind of how I went. I took a nosedive. I mean, I didn't really understand how it was, and then you had to go and adjust all the stuff in the responses for the texts that go out. It's an autoresponder, but through texting, and it wasn't very user friendly. So, which kind of, you know, put a damper on things too. You know, you don't have the confidence in it. I said, why am I going to be in a program I don't even have confidence in actually doing anyway? You know. So that was the end of that one. Finally, after almost a year, I think I put into it.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds quite strange as well, because given your experience with the email marketing program as well, so technical stuff probably wouldn't be totally alien to you because you would have had the experience of setting up autoresponders and sending out broadcast emails and all of that sort of thing. But then this program had that extra layer of difficulty, which for somebody who perhaps was coming into it with no experience whatsoever, then surely they're not going to have any chance at all of getting anywhere with it.
Oh yeah, I mean, by the time I left, I probably had about 400 people that signed underneath me through my text number, and I think I might have had one person that was involved, and they didn't even really do anything, so I wasn't even making any money off my downline. So,
wow, that's not really a good
no, no embarrassing.
a good conversion
Yeah.
rate.
There goes that other failure towards success, right?
Exactly. But did you try marketing that program then to the email list that you'd built previously?
Yes, I mean I tried to do it through texting, obviously, but then through Facebook posts and also the email marketing. And they also had a link also you can get solo ads and try to get people to sign up that way. But for the programs that my email list signed up for is totally different than the texting. Yeah, they wanted, you know, just like affiliate marketing or something like that. And so they had no interest at all in the texting. So that kind of fell on deaf ears anytime I sent out an email or anything, and I would get people unsubscribing to me or complaining, you know, through Aweber and all that. So it wasn't a good thing.
So do you think that the list that you were building previously, the email list, that was more primed for low ticket buyers?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Because everything I was offering before that it was either a free offer or it was something that was, you know, $79 or $89 to sign up. And after a while, it seemed like that was even getting too expensive because I wasn't getting anything from anybody. Yeah. But I mean, that's what you have to do, though. And it's like I said, you know, you have to check and see who's opening them, who's actually responding to them and all that, and you're constantly just rotating it and trying to put fresh, people in your email list. And I think that's going to be ongoing anyway, no matter what, you know, marketing thing you do, you have to keep rotating it.
Yeah, so how long did you persist with the text program then?
I did it for about a year, probably 6 months longer than I should have, but
So that was the money to get involved with it, plus then about $100 a month
oh yeah,
for about a year, just to maintain it.
yeah. So just in that, I lost probably about 2,000, not counting solo ads and all that to try to get it out. So yeah,
Yeah, so you were in a position there really where you were just throwing good money after bad, just trying to make it work. And after about a year, then you just thought, enough's enough. I've got to stop doing this. And well, I suppose you had a decision to make. Then you could either quit completely, or you could try and find something else. Did you think about quitting at that point, or were you determined to make this whole online thing work for you?
I don't know if it was thinking of quitting. I think it was more frustration and just being mad. I was very angry though. Why isn't this thing working? Yeah, and I think my anger and frustration just made me push harder to go and do something else and just prove to myself that I can do it. Yeah, because after a couple 7 years, 8 years, or whatever, not really being successful, I said there's got to be a way. Yeah, and all these people that you see that are making all this high ticket money and commissions and all that, they've been in the business for years. They haven't, they didn't do this in a month or two. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have to realize that, all these really successful people have been doing it for years. They're in the same boat that you are now. They all started off, struggling, scraping, and just trying to make it a go of it, until they finally get a niche or something that clicks and they finally found something that's actually working and what they can use with it. And I think that's what we all have to do too.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because we all see on social media that these affiliate marketers seemingly pop out of nowhere. You've never heard of them before, but then they're smashing out a $10,000 month or something like that, and you do sit there scratching your head thinking, how on earth are these people doing it? Now, some of them are brand new. Some people, they do have a natural flair and they start doing things the right way immediately, and everything just seems to click for them. But for other people, as you say there, they could have been doing it for years without a huge audience or not in the full glare of social media, but they've been working at it in the background, building their credibility, their authority, building up their audience until they get involved with an offer which really resonates with that audience and things just blow up for them. And I think that's something that perhaps isn't talked about enough because you do just see people appearing out of nowhere and you just assume that that's their first day in the industry.
Yeah, and a lot of times when I see things pop up like that, I'll try to go and research them also. Whatever company or program they belong to, I try to Google it and just try to find out how long was this business actually around. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, they've only been around about a year, less than a year. Yeah, they don't have a lot of members, or if you're able to find a guy's profile, or the girl's profile, you go on there and it's either really new or if you go back far enough, you can see when they actually did start promoting and it really wasn't that far far back. So you kind of wonder, these guys just doing the whole fake thing, just trying to get people to join with them.
Yeah, I think that goes on a lot as well. There's a lot of faking it till you make it, and you see people who are having these really good months, and they might do that for a little while, for several months, but then they just stop and disappear. And you think, well, if they were really making that money consistently, if they were really doing that well, why aren't they still doing it? Why have they disappeared?
Exactly.
So it makes you think. It does make you think. But with regards to your own journey here now, I think that has taken us up until last year. I think we talked about previously where you stopped doing the text program, and then you found the offer which is actually now working for you. It's actually giving you the level of success that you've been looking for over the past few years, and you actually found that opportunity by accident. Can you tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Yeah, this is funny. I guess it was kind of mean too. I don't know, but like I said earlier, I'm constantly getting people. Well, everyone gets friend requests and all that, and people throw after the high, they just throw offers at you. This one person, we might have had maybe conversation back and forth maybe 3 times, and so he lasted a little longer than the other people do. But he, yeah, the same questions. Oh, you're in marketing. I said, well, if you looked at my profile, you'd know I was in marketing. Yeah, that's the first red flag. But he throws this offer at me. So I said, yeah, all right, I'll check it out. So I click the link. I look at it and everything. I see the company's name on it. Okay, so I Google it and I pull it up and I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, it looks really good. I said, well, this guy's just spamming me, so I'm not going to go sign up under him. So I went and just signed up through the company through Google, so somebody else would get the commission on it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just it irks me when people just throw offers because I mean I know I used to do the same thing, and now when it's being done to me all the time, it's like if the offer's that good, you don't really have to spam it. You can just talk about it and show some interest and curiosity and get into it that way. But the way he did it, it just frustrated me. So I just went to Google and joined through them.
Yeah, it does sound like that particular affiliate really shot themselves in the foot then, because from what you say there, they weren't too spammy initially. There was a bit of a back and forth between you. So if they just, you know, held back a little bit and perhaps had a bit more of a conversation with you, had a bit more of a relationship, tried to find out a bit more about where you were at, perhaps what you were struggling with, and showed a genuine interest, then when the time was right for them to offer that link to this particular opportunity, then you would have been more inclined to have signed up with them. But because of their over keenness, then they lost out.
Yeah, I mean, there's no trust being built. And that's the whole thing. That's something that I've really learned over the last, you know, especially the last 6 or 7 months, that you really have to build trust with the people that you talk to. Yeah. And with the conversation I had with this person, it was pretty generic. The first thing was, hey Gary, how are you? And I said, oh, are you in marketing also? Like, well, like I said, if you look at my profile, you'd know that I'm into different types of marketing and all that. I mean, I never really talk to anybody unless I look at their profile first and see what they're about. And see if you have something in common, then you can start a conversation. Yeah. But yeah, this guy is just and the whole thing that makes me laugh is, how many people have done that to me when I spam them? They could probably done the same thing, because I'll see. In fact, I saw a couple of people that I've spoken to, and they've joined the program that I gave them under a different sponsor. So I'm wondering, maybe they did the same thing I just did.
We all get spammed in Messenger. We're all getting links just dumped at us, and we don't really click them or look too much into the message or anything like that, especially if it's the first exchange that we've had with somebody. So yeah, no doubt, if you were going down that route in the past where you were barely saying hello to somebody without throwing them a huge wall of text and a link at the end, they probably weren't even checking it out, and they'll soon move on to somebody else who perhaps is showing a genuine interest in them. There's no shortage of affiliate marketers on social media. If you're getting spammed by somebody, then it's not going to be too long before you have a conversation with somebody else and have a real conversation.
Yeah, and another thing with the spamming on Messenger is when you get those long texts of explaining the whole thing, it's all copy paste. They probably didn't even read it themselves. They just have the thing they copy and paste with the link on the bottom. And they just give it out to everybody. Yeah. So instead of reading it and actually putting in your own words and if it worked for you, what your experience in it, personal touch. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that can see through that. I mean, everybody gets these things. Yeah. It's like when you see posts of certain companies with a promo or whatever, they're all posting the same one. Every single person is the same post. I said you can do a post about it, just do it in your own words. Make yourself stand out above everybody else because everyone else is just going to keep scrolling right past you. They're not even going to look at it.
Yeah, I think there is an opportunity there for anybody who is willing to put even a slight bit of originality into their work, to make that little bit of effort, because there are so many people who are coming into the industry now and they are just looking for that fast buck, that fast easy money, which involves them doing next to no work at all. As a recovering spammer yourself, as you say, copy and paste text, copy and paste links, dumping them in front of people at the earliest opportunity. So if you can do the opposite to that and just produce some original content, have an actual conversation with somebody, then you're going to stand out. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've started doing that, within the last, I'd say, month or two. I was being more original. I was showing people who I am as a person, that I'm not just, some fake guy trying to sell a program, And it's amazing how quick that you start getting responses from people that you don't know. Because they can see through other stuff, But when they see that you're actually, putting your own life experiences or whatever, into the post, and it could be as easy as, I was walking my dog today, and, anything like that, just showing, giving them a piece of your life of what you do every day.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's really easy to produce that type of content as well, because you're just sharing what you're doing, and you're not spamming your social media. You're actually acting like a real human being, which unfortunately these days does make you stand out.
Yeah, yeah, good or bad.
So so what would you say then is your biggest achievement so far then, that you've experienced over the past few months since getting involved in this new program, where you're now starting to see some level of success?
I think just when you start seeing success, it builds your confidence. Yeah, and I was lacking a lot of self confidence in marketing because I wasn't getting the success that I expected or thought I was going to get. Yeah, so when I started seeing a little action, you get commissions. I mean, it feels good, and it kind of boosts your confidence up, and it kind of pushes you to do something else and step more out of the box. I think that's the biggest thing that all of us kind of get stuck in is you get stuck in your little box, and you're doing exactly what the program's telling you to do. I said, well, it's kind of like a guide, really. They this is what they suggest you do, but if you can switch it around and make it your own, and that's with any program. I've seen people that have gone word by word by what the program tells them to do. They don't get anything. Then I see some other guy go and post some crazy stuff, still talking about the program, and he's doing great. Yeah. So it's just a matter of how far out of the box you want to step. Yeah.
So over the past 8 years online then, with the different experiences that you've had with the various programs, the ups and downs, what would be the best advice that you could give to somebody who's starting out in online marketing now?
Probably the best thing would be do your research. Look into the company. I know it takes more time and it could be tedious at times, but really, research the company and see how long they've been around. And because I don't have exact numbers, but I think they said a normal marketing program only last like 2 or 3 years really. They're not really successful until they're at least 7 years, I believe, or something like that. There are exceptions, obviously, but yeah, do your research and you have to be proactive. I mean, you really have to go out and have the passion. If you don't have the passion, nothing's gonna work. You really have to like what you're doing. You can't fake it to make it, like you said. I said so you need the passion just to go and do whatever you can do, to make stuff work. You just have to go and reach out to people. What's the worst thing they can do is either ignore you or they won't, take your friend request, I said, but, if you show the initiative to reach out and, ask questions to people that are, doing good, most times they're more than happy to, help you out in some way anyway or give you a little bit of advice, So don't ever shy away from people giving advice, especially people that have succeeded.
And that in itself is some really good advice. so, so thank you for sharing that. So, for yourself then, Gary, what happens next for you? What are your plans over the next 12 months?
Well, I'm starting to get my organic marketing going now, and I'm getting some positive feedback from people. Right now, I'm pushing like within the 3 to 6 months to be doing at least maybe 5,000 a month. In year time, I'd like to do 10,000. But I mean, I do have commissions coming in. They're not huge, but they're still commissions. And you build up on them. And I mean, I'm still getting commissions from products I promoted like 5 years ago that people are getting from Warrior Plus or whatever. So I mean, passive income's great. I mean, it can show up anytime. Yeah. But yeah, I just want to get something that I can steadily do. That eventually, like everyone's dream, is to work from home full time. Right now I'm like any normal person. I have a 9 to 5 job. And I try to do this, in the evenings and at night and lunchtime or whenever I have time. And just being consistent and just having the drive to do it. There's no reason why you can't succeed.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you, and I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people who are listening into this podcast or watching the video version who are really going to be able to relate to that because they're going to be working a day job themselves. They may well have other family commitments and all of these other things that take up a lot of time. And if you want to become successful in online marketing, then you have to do what you can do to work around that and try to find the time to not only just do the things that you need to do, but also to find a level of consistency within that as well. And I know that is easier said than done, but this is what you have to do. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. So if people want to find out more about you, where is the best place for them to do that?
Probably through Facebook. That would be the best way. Facebook, you can, friend me or send me a message on Messenger. I look at them all. I answer them, you can tell them that, you can say that you saw me on the podcast or you're interested in anything or, even if you just want to talk and, if you have a question, I'd be glad to, try to answer if I can. If not, I'll get the answer for you.
Okay, that's great. So what I'll also do is put the link to your Facebook in the show notes as well, so people can get easy access to that if they want to get in touch with you, find out more about what you're up to and all that kind of thing as well. So I think we'll end things there. It's been a fascinating tale over the last 7 or 8 years to find out more about your story, where you were, what you did along the way, and now where you're finally at. And even though you are seeing this level of success now, this is really just the beginning for you. I can foresee a lot of good things happening for you now over the next 12 months and beyond that as well. So I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to do this show today and to really get a good insight into into your story and what you want to do in the future. So thank you so much for joining me on the episode today.
No, this is great. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure. I'll chat to you soon.
All right.
If you enjoy Engage, please show your support at engagersclub.com, our exclusive members-only club with enough content, training, and behind-the-scenes access to keep you going until the next episode. That's engagersclub.com. Also, please rate and review this podcast wherever you download them. Stay engaged.